Hey sister, this is Dr. Karen Osborne. Listen, I'm going to talk to you for 30 seconds before this episode begins about my next Women Wanting More live event. This is 2.5 days of women just like you being pushed physically, mentally, emotionally, getting really clear on what they want, knowing why it matters, and leave with the tools to actually put that into action and being part of a sisterhood. So if this is something that really, really resonates within your heart, sister, I want you to head over to drkarenosborne.com, click on the Work With Me button, and we can start the application process. I look forward to hearing from you. Here's that episode.
Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So my coach Satema talks about this concept, which I'll share with you right now, which is about calling an audible. So Satema has a Super Bowl ring. He used to play in the NFL, so football has been and still is a big deal in his life. So calling an audible, it's funny. I put a put a Facebook post about this recently. So what's a calling an audible? Audible, when you hear the quarterback, calling out like what the plays are going to be, right? They're all going to be like numbers and stuff like that. So what is the play they're going to do? And there are times when that play might be changed depending on how he's now seen the other team line up, right? And just might like make a decision in a moment of like, we're going to change this play. So calling it audible when it comes to how does that reflect to your life? Well, I'll kind of first just share how that related to my recent live event. And when actually coming back to Satema, I supported him at his second Shield Maiden live event, which he had in August. And he talked about that, calling an audible. He's like, we're going to, at every single break, we're going to call audibles. We're going to take a look and say, what are you noticing with the women? What works? What's not working? What do they need? Like just really make decisions on the fly. So when I went to my live event, it was the same thing. I just really kind of tapped in. I listened to the voice, was like, what needs to happen for these women? I had an outline. I had, these are the components I need to cover, but I was very comfortable with calling the audible for what was needed. So just this past weekend, I had the honor of supporting my husband and speaking as well too at his first live event. It's called TCP Live Event. It's his business, which is called TCP. So the Chiropractic Philanthropist is his podcast and also one of his coaching programs. And so it was awesome. It was in Vancouver. It was a small group of 15 chiropractors that were there. And it was a one-day event. And so I had it kind of very scheduled and knew exactly what I was talking about. I knew what I was talking about. I was talking all about mindset for an hour in the morning. And then at lunch, Ann and I, so, all the participants were like having lunch and hanging out, socializing and networking, bonding. And so Ed and I went up to our hotel room and I was like, let's talk. Because what I was seeing is that they were getting a lot of, outside of what I talked about, but from Ed, and this is again not a bad thing, but they were getting a lot of information. They were getting a lot of how-to stuff. And I could just see there was that feeling of overwhelm. Have you ever been to a seminar where it's like information, content, list, like to-dos, and you're like, oh my God, like it gets heavy. Like people they start to tune out. Not to mention, what was interesting was maybe about an hour before the lunch break, maybe a little bit less than that, Ed went around the room and said, what do you want? Why are you here? And the answers that they gave, although, they were very truthful to them, were very surface. They were very surface, especially the whys. And I'll reference one of my past episodes, which is called, I think it's called The Deep Why. And what this means is this: when people often will give you an answer as to why they want something in their life, they often will give that first surface answer. Okay, something they would say, and I actually give this example, and this happened too, something they would give at a seminar. Like if they were called on to speak, something that sounds good, right? It seems like the right thing to say. And by all means, they might actually really, really feel that, right? But what happens, and the reason we often do that, is for fear of looking bad. Like, oh, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to look stupid. They are fear of being judged, right? And are kind of giving this really kind of general, grandiose, is that the right word? Just like a vague answer. And so when I went around the room and talked about like what they wanted and why, and I remember I'm sitting back a room, seeing Ed kind of do this with the 15, powerful chiropractors that were there. And again, coming from their place of truth. And I remember like just in my head, I'm like, that's not it for them. Like they are giving the seminar answers, right? The ones that sound good. So when Ed and I at the break, and we did this throughout the day, but especially at lunch, I went and grabbed some food, went up to the room. We're like, okay, let's throw down here. Like, let's really break down what's happening right now. What's happening right now is they are overwhelmed. They are like tight, constricted. They're not open. Now, this is a very different experience, I believe, than most of them had anticipated. So what Ed does brilliantly is really teach chiropractors how to either have another revenue stream of online business, sharing a message that they feel compelled to, or there are some that actually they're looking to leave practice. They want to do something different. They feel a calling. I mean, really what happened with Ed was actually, forced out of practice with health concerns with his diagnosis of Crohn's years ago, but I was still in practice. And I had this calling. I'm like, there's got to be something else. And so this is really what got me to here, being able to close the doors of a chiropractic office after 14 years, about 5-6 months ago, which is crazy. It was only that long ago. It seems like 5-6 years ago. So he really, is helping to teach his chiropractors from what we've learned, what's worked for us. Because there are some that as much as they love chiropractic, they're tired. They're working a lot of hours. They are stressed. They have massive amounts of overhead in their businesses. They're missing their kids. They want more time freedom. And I know for me, that was a big thing. So we are talking at lunch, and I'm like, look, everyone's really stiff. Like, we got to get them opening up and sharing. So I said, let's take a look at the content you have coming back in the afternoon. And we're looking at it. I'm just like, honey, like, I love you. However, here's what I feel. And this is Ed's live event. I basically jumped in about 4 weeks before because Ed was feeling really, really overwhelmed doing this on his own. And I said, look, let me help. Let me help. I just finished my live event. I'm like, I'm going to take over the catering. I'm going to take over you do the video guys stuff. I'm going to take over like all the arrangements. Like, you just do your thing. Like, I'll be there for you. And I was also, head offered to speak and honored to, although it might sound kind of funny. It's like, well, you're the wife. Like, he probably just said, yeah, honey, you can come speak. But like, no, I was like, listen, I would love to speak and contribute. But if you don't think it's okay, like, you can tell me. And like, we're good. We're good. And, so we're talking this at lunch, and I just said, look, they need to open up. Like, it's stifling how closed they are right now. And if they're going to really have an experience of this, we got to do something completely different. So I said, let's do this. If it's okay with you, I said to Ed, if I have your permission, I would love to speak for that first section after lunch. And I'm going to be honest with them. I'm going to ask for their permission, which I did. I went up to the front of the room. How was lunch? Oh, it was great. Food was great. Hotel's amazing. We stayed in Vancouver. And I said, awesome. I go, Ed and I spoke at lunch. I was really direct and honest with them, right? I go, we feel like there's something different we can provide for you for the rest of today. And I would like to know if I have your permission to be completely honest and open with you. So I literally went around there and I said, do I have your permission? Yes. Do I have your permission? All 15. I said, okay. I go, here's the deal. I love and respect all of you. You are all not fully telling the truth as to what you want and why it matters. I said, we're not getting there yet. So here's what I would like to propose. Here's what I would like to do. We're going to break down. So we had 15, right? So I go, we're going to break down to 5 groups of 3. We're going to give you 5 minutes, and you're going to share with your group, what is it that you want? Like, what is it that you want either from this day? So you can leave here and be like, I got exactly what I wanted, right? Or what is it that you want? It could even be like a bigger picture, like what you want. What is it that you want for your life? Like, what do you want? You've heard me, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I talk about this all the time. But if you don't have the foundations, I said to Ed, I'm like, babe, like, you are so brilliant at teaching these people like strategies on how to put this into play. Ed is like, he is awesome at this. But what I said is, what I'm seeing is if they don't have the foundation of what they want and why it matters, like none of that shit will hold. There's no foundation to lay upon if they're just simply given, here's the steps to like pull the trigger. Here's the steps to do something. Here's bigger picture of, how you maybe want to build things out in your business. Like it won't happen. So I told them, I was really honest. So we made that Audible. And what was amazing so they got 5 minutes, broke down again to 5 groups of 3. And I said, you're each going to be given about a minute and a half. Okay. And I was like, is everybody clear on the agreements? Yeah. Clear. You know what you need to do? Yeah. Clear. Cool. So 3, 2, 1, go. Psh, hit the timer on my phone. I get to 3.5 minutes. I go, okay, next person switch. Next person switch. So they were given a very short time period to like get it done, right? It's like, what do you want? What do you want? Sometimes if we're under, a time constraint or even under duress, like we're going to get there faster. If we give ourselves this big ass, scope of time on when to do something, then we're going to take the whole time, right? So they share with each other, and I said, great. Then we went around and said, who'd like to share? Like, what insight came up for you from doing that? And they were sharing like deep stuff. Like what I want is like to be more present for my wife. What I want is to really be there. And I just want to have I want to provide legacy for my children. I don't just mean financial legacy, but I want to be remembered this way by my children. Like what was being shared was so much deeper than like, I just want to create freedom and I want to, help people and I want to have clarity. And like people were getting there, right? So then we continued on. And so in that same group of 3, they then shared with that group of 3, why does it absolutely have to happen? The thing that they want. Like, why is it an absolute must? Why is it significant? Why does it need to happen? So same thing, 5 minutes. They each got about a minute and a half. Boom, 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 went through. And I could see even so when they're speaking and they're going around the groups, just kind of listening, right? Maybe giving feedback, but just kind of listening and being present with the groups. But I knew as soon as we did that, the whole energy of the room shifted, right? The whole energy of the room. And then we went through every single one of those people and we wrote down, what is that you want and why? What and why? What and why? What and why? And wrote them down. We had these like big giant Post-it notes, almost like a whiteboard size, right? You can tear them off and like put them around the room. And so doing that completely shifted the afternoon, right? People connected with one another. I even had them go and walk and talk at a certain point. So once they got the what and the why, they all now got outside of their group of 3 and they got a new partner and they walked and talked for a couple of minutes into this. So I got them moving. Again, we needed to shift the energy, shift what was happening with them inside because they were not opening up. So, they could leave and go, wow, it was great. I got a lot of great information. But it wouldn't have given them the experience. It would have given them the insight. I could see the impact as soon as we started. I was like, yeah, this was the right thing to do. So calling an audible, and as I wrote in a Facebook post, I'll reference it as well then too in this episode. I wrote about this today. It's like, life is not linear. Life is not linear. It's not A to B, B to C, C to D. Like it doesn't work that way. You might find that you get to places in your life and it might still be exactly what you wanted, or maybe not. It could be something different that was in store for you. And it didn't happen the way you needed to. And you needed to call an audible along the way, right? You needed to course correct based on what was happening and not be so rigid in our thinking of how we think things are supposed to happen in life. Because if we are so inflexible to how things are supposed to happen in our life, we're going to miss those moments of calling audible. We're going to miss those times of being able to course correct and go in a different direction. Listen, sister, your life is up to you. You do not have to live it based on how you think you're supposed to show up or how you've been told to show up or what you think society wants you to do. None of that shit matters. You know. And the more that you listen to the voice inside and call those audibles as you need to shift direction or do something different, the more amazing that your life will truly be. This is really expansion, is being okay with that. Calling that audible when you need to in course correcting. So here's your more tip then for today, sister. Where are you right now in your life where you're really stuck, you're rigid in your way of thinking of getting to something that you want? That could be something in your marriage. That could be something in your business, with your purpose, with your health, with how you show up as a parent. We had a situation today with Tyson. So we've been away for not even like 2 days, right? Like 2 nights. Someone come up to take care of our boys. They come back. They've been used to us being away at times. We've been away a little bit more recently. We get back and Tyson's cool at first. And after that, he's just like so aggressive. Like I'm gonna almost say like violent with his little brother who's 3. Now he has definitely been doing the stereotypical older brother of like teasing and taunting and punching him and stuff. But like today was just like, he's just crossing a line. And so I go to Ed, I go, dude, he's 6 right now. Like this shit stops now. And he's been doing stuff at school too, like punching kids and kicking and biting and just like, he's got some anger inside of him. That's okay. And he's a very physical little dude. I mean, it's a lot like his mom that way, right? He needs to express it, get it out, have an outlet for that. So I called an Audible today and I just said, dude, I'm fucking enrolling him in martial arts. Like today, I'm like, went online, I'm like, martial arts, Kids Victoria, first thing came up, I'm like, Taekwondo, cool. They're like, you can do a 6-week thing. It's like this amount. It was like a, just kind of special intro offer. I'm like, great. Paid for it, boom. Someone will call in the next 24 hours. I'm like, great. I'm like, this kid needs more discipline. And it's not like we are not in that place in our home. But I'm like, what's happening right now? Like, it's not working, right? This is not working for us. It's not working for him. It's not working for him. So I'm like, let's call an Audible. I'm like, if we got him in something like martial arts, like something where there is that discipline in place, he's getting it from somebody else as well too. And he's got that physical outlet of it. I'm just like, we got to channel this for him. I can't keep fighting who he is. Let me allow him to express himself, but to do it in a better, if you will, more healthy way. Right? So where is it in your life that you need to call it audible, sister? And make that course correct to get the things that you really want. For me, with our son Tyson, I want him to grow up to be an amazing human being, an incredibly powerful man. If we allow this to continue at the age of 6, that will not happen. He'll get bigger and stronger and smarter and like, we got to cut this off at the pass now. Right? And so I made that audible. So where do you need to do that in your life, sister? And then what is the one step you can make today, which will move you closer towards getting that thing that you want? What is the audible? What is the piece of that you can make today to move you closer? For me, it was a simple one. Let me go online. Checked it out. Yeah, they got classes looks like after school between 4 and 5, Monday through Friday. I'm like, that would work. Can pay online. Perfect. Love it. Works for me. Boom, done. Like I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, let's just go. Let's do it. So what is the one step you can take with that then today? So sister, if you don't already subscribe to the Women Wanting More newsletter, I want you to head over to drkarenosburn.com. So it's spelled DRKERENOSBURN.com. And you will see the instant pop-up to be able to join the Women Wanting More newsletter and tribe. You can enter in your name and email right away, and you will be hooked up. And listen, this is a way to get VIP access. You get all 3 of these episodes. You're going to get information about my upcoming book, all my live events, special offers, my webinar masterclasses. I'll be emailing you daily, sister, videos, posts to really help you to be able to get more within your life. And again, be part of this sisterhood with Women Wanting More. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.